Hey guys, how's it going? It's your buddy Doomy here, and I'm here with a little bit of a strange video for you, but I wanted to give you a little bit of insight about maybe my opinion on the matter, and then also how maybe the other side handles opinions and kind of highlight that because it seems like there's an overwhelming amount of people that want to say everything under the sun, that what they have to say goes, we should all listen to them. But the truth is that the truth hurts. Not everything we hear is going to be something we want to hear, something we want to accept. Good news is that you can become a better person once reality hits you in the head. I can't stress that enough. Talk about this comment on Threads that I saw. Now, it is regarding trans people, and when I, talk about this, I mean it with the utmost respect. Things just need a whole overhaul and a whole new system, but I certainly don't want to live in a world where I'm denying just basic science. I can't live in that world, and I refuse to live in that world. I especially refuse to live in a world where this stuff is being directed towards young children. I have a huge problem with that. For today, I'm going to be talking about this comment right here, and it is definitely a doozy. So, now, one of the first things here we are reading is straight men who like trans women are still straight. Now, before I pop off on all this stuff, I want to say that I don't mind if you are a grown adult who has transitioned. I do not mind if you have gone through every single procedure and you have a preference in how you want me to call you or address you. I can respect that. But again, I'm not going to go ahead and change what I think and what I know about basic human biology. I can't do it. I will not change how I feel about science just to make somebody else feel a little bit more valid. But I will treat you with respect. I will never disrespect somebody for wanting to be addressed as something that makes them feel more comfortable, within reason. Like, if you think you're a dog, I'm not calling you a dog. Simple as that. Straight men who like trans women are still straight. So I disagree with that statement there. I think that being a trans woman means that you are part of the LGBT plus community, which basically means that your sexuality isn't straight. You're not a cis woman. You are a trans woman. When you're a trans woman, that means that you are a man that transitioned to a woman. So, if you have a man who would consider himself straight, who would prefer biological women with vaginas, real vaginas, may fall in love with her with the possibility of having a uterus to have children with this individual, not straight. Not straight to have sex with somebody who had a penis or has a penis who identifies as a trans woman trying to call themselves a woman. It just doesn't work like that. I know it's really hard to hear that. I know that the reality is that you wish that you were born in a different body, okay? But I think it would do you a lot better to just be happy with who you are now, continue to strive to be the person you want to be if you're not that person yet, but stop denying those facts, because denying these facts are not going to make you feel better. But moving on and gradually trying to become a better person from it will. Hopefully that helps a little bit. And I mean that with love. Second comment is trans women are allowed to exist. I completely agree with that. Trans women are allowed to exist. Trans men are allowed to exist. I have a problem with people that do treat others with no respect or decency or human decency, people that utter death threats, people that threaten other people's existences because they don't necessarily understand somebody's identity. And that's wrong. That is wrong. And I understand that we have a crisis of really not being able to understand anything. And that affects all groups of people. So the sooner we get on board with that and being more open to understanding and acceptance, the sooner that everybody can exist without even having to get to the nitty-gritty and trying to change scientific facts to try to make everybody just treat them better. Because at the end of the day, I think that it's just such a reach, it's just such a struggle to try to get people to understand, and I get why people go to such extremes sometimes, but It still doesn't make it right, but I can understand that the attempt is there and why. People deserve to be treated with respect, okay? End of story. The third one is if you are not trans, you can't debate our rights. I don't know if there are trans rights being taken away other than they're not being enforced. There are a lot of trans people out there that are being beaten, bullied, neglected. I could go down the list. That's just the reality of it because there are people that just don't understand. And I really wish we had more people that would understand because we wouldn't have such extreme measures. We wouldn't have what we have now when it comes to social media and such a hard push on this stuff if we had more understanding people. And that comes from the right, but that also comes from the left. There needs to be understanding on both parts, and there needs to be a middle ground. And we both need to just settle on that middle ground. Okay? Calling trans women men is not okay. Well, I would say it depends on the context. If you're going to say that this was a trans woman, you could say that was once a man. But if you are saying that this trans woman is a man, you are blatantly being disrespectful and trying to hurt their feelings. Like, just shut the fuck up. Like, if they're not trying to have, babies with you or trying to have a child, let's just say in this case, if it's a trans woman, and they're trying to say that they have a uterus and A, B, and C, then sure, no, that's a man. That's, you know, that part. But you can't be disrespectful and just go, fuck, this person is putting all this effort into trying to change their identity and how they present themselves to the world, and you're just going to be a dick and call them a man. Not cool. Despite your biological belief, on the matter, it just doesn't make sense to treat people like shit because of it. There are a lot of people that are going through things that you don't understand. And again, the U word, understanding. And the fifth one, trans women are women. Now, it's not that I don't think that trans women aren't feminine, can't be feminine like women are feminine, but there are also men that are masculine, right? So I can't necessarily say and agree that, a man who transitioned into a woman is going to be able to have a baby naturally. That's just not the case. And I think that's okay to say. But it's also okay to say that trans people are allowed to be who they are and not have to be questioned about it. Of course, unless there is a medical necessity. Otherwise, people should just be able to exist. But there's the flip side, and this is where the thing comes in where two things can be true at once. Where it's very important to let everybody be who they are and who they want to be. It is also another thing to not push these things on other people and especially kids. Because talking about these sexuality matters with young adults and young children before they understand themselves is such a problem. And the sooner we start being able to recognize certain symptoms of mental health per se, and I'm not saying every trans person has mental health issues, but it certainly does help to talk to people when you're going through such a huge, huge thing. Something that I can't imagine. I can't imagine waking up every day and not feeling comfortable in the body that I was born in, and especially those that have gone through the process to make sure that, am I okay mentally? Have I gone through anything that has happened to me as a child? Like, am I okay? Am I ready to take this on? This is the best step. These things are important, and especially now, I'm noticing that there are a lot of medical professionals out there that, forgive me for saying this, but they seem to be quite woke and would rather give in to the circumstance of somebody's mental illness rather than risk being scrutinized on social media at this point. Or in the media, or in a newspaper, or the news, or whatever. I think that that's the point where we're at right now because we know that social media has such a grasp on everything. That's the scary part. So there are a lot of branches to go through and to go down and to figure out, I guess you could say, when it comes to this topic. Because again, so many things can be true at once. But also, some things could be also not true. And some things we just need to accept. So, with that being said, make sure to take care of yourselves, guys. You know, if you haven't yet, take a look at my social medias, subscribe here to this YouTube video, and like the video for more. Not only that, though, take a look at the tea and the Instagram accounts. We're hitting almost 13K, which is amazing. And on my YouTube here, we're actually almost hitting 500. We're halfway there. So please, I appreciate the subscription. One more means we're one person closer to possibly, don't quote me on this, but possibly a more sane world to live in. You know what I mean? Until next time, guys, take care of yourselves. Bye.